Davante Adams. And this is the reason why. You need a guy, 3rd and 5, Davante is taken away. You need a guy that Aaron could just drop back and say, I am coming to you, go make a play. Marvin Jones has been the best at going up and making plays for a long time. And I'm wrong. I'm talking Marvin Jones. I'm supposed to be talking Patrick Peterson.
They're both good.
Peterson to the Green Bay Packers. Listen, you have an all-pro corner on the other side of Jaire Alexander. Put this guy on the other side who could go get the ball and take the football away, who's been doing it for a long time. I competed against him for a long time. He has a lot of juice left. Put him on a contender on the Green Bay Packers on the other side of Alexander, and you got a very good secondary in Green Bay to go out there and slow down any quarterback who comes in there. We just talked about Matthew Stafford. It don't matter who comes in there if you add Patrick Peterson.
Like that. Your heart said Marvin Jones. Your mind said Patrick Peterson. I know what you're trying to do. I get it.
Thank you,
what I'm kind of doing is I'm doing the same thing, though. I have the same thought because you see free agents, but it's a crazy trade. But I think that Carson Wentz getting back with Frank Reich would be the move. And you take the Colts. The Colts need a quarterback. And I think Carson Wentz and Frank Reich are 2 peas in a pod. These guys are the same type of guy. I mean, I've known Frank for a little while, and Carson, same type of mold, and I think that he really gets him. So to pair him with a team that's already ready to go, it'd be a good move for Philly because obviously it's not going to really work in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz. I think he still has some ability left. He played great when Frank Reich was his play caller. Put him back in Indy and see if you guys can make it work.
All right, JJ, put that GM hat on one more time. Since you've already given us 2, how about one more free agent signing you'd like to see?
Well, I promise you I'm going to get this one right the first time. Hey, Melvin Ingram to the Raiders. I'm telling you, a pass rusher who can get after the quarterback, who's an athletic dude. He can make plays all over the field. We know the Raiders need pass rushers to get back there and get the quarterback off of his spot. I'm telling you right now, this dude is an absolute baller. Get him to the Raiders, and you got him and Max Crosby coming off the edge. That is an excellent start right there for this defense for the Raiders with the new DC. I would love to see this fit in the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, that's right. With a new defensive coordinator who he knows really well. So I think that would be a perfect fit. We would take that. I say we. Love it. My favorite one, I think, would be something that just needs to be fixed, and it's Deshaun Watson to the Bears. I mean, if Deshaun really wants out, which I think is going to be crazy for them to do that, but if he's actually going to make a move, Chicago's in kind of a similar situation for me as Indianapolis, a team that has a great defense, that has some pieces in play. You might even be able to keep Allen Robinson if you can figure out a way to trade for Deshaun Watson. So for me, this makes a ton of sense, even for both sides, really. So they could be creative here and make something happen. I think the Chicago Bears could offer them something that they might not be able to say no to. So we'll see what happens, but that would be cool.
Well, with that being said, DC, Patrick Peterson must go to the Green Bay Packers.
There it is.
Deshaun Watson is going to the Bears.
We're just setting it all up here. Now, I'm wondering, since we showed you a list of notable free agents, if that would change Allen Robinson's mind about maybe trying to figure out a deal to stay in Chicago if they can make the money work, of course. JJDC, thank you guys to keep this Valentine's Day theme going. We're going to ask all of you out there who your favorite duo from 2020 was. You see the options here. Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. You got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs from this year. Of course, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I mean, the resume is long there. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, another great first-year duo. You can vote on Twitter at NFL Total Access, or go to our Total Access page on Instagram as well. Results coming to you at the end of the show. NFL quarterbacks can... Hello, everybody. Welcome to NFL Total Access. I'm Rhett Lewis. I'll be joined shortly by a pair of Super Bowl champions in James Jones and David Carr. And championship really is the key word here. About a week removed now from crowning a new one in the Bucs, with 31 other teams trying to figure out their formula. The Rams, though, of course, as we know now, got to jump on that action with their trade that sent the quarterback carousel spinning. And now, as the dust begins to settle on the Rams trade with the Lions to acquire Matthew Stafford, the new L.A. quarterback, in a recent interview with the Detroit Free Press, saying he had one request of his old team when asking for the trade. He wanted to go to a team that was championship ready. And with the Rams just 2 years removed from a Super Bowl appearance and now 2 division titles under head coach Sean McVay, the request seemed to work. L.A. perennially among the league's best offenses since Sean McVay has taken over as head coach. The Rams' attack, though not as high-powered this year as in previous years, but just outside the top 10 in total yards and passing. For comparison, the Bucs championship offense this year, only about 7 yards better in total yards but about 40 yards better in passing offense per game. As we now bring in David Carr. Here he is. DC, let's talk about this side of the trade from the Rams' perspective. Now, we know Matthew Stafford said he wanted to go to a championship team. Seems like he has that opportunity here with L.A. But from the Rams' perspective, what in particular makes Matthew Stafford a more championship-caliber quarterback than Jared Goff?
Well, when you watch the Rams play and you saw the limitations of the Rams offense, it wasn't structural and it wasn't from Sean McVay or just from creating an offense standpoint. Many times it was because he was able to create so much offense, and the issues that you see with them are things that happen post-snap. It's not necessarily what happened pre-snap. And Jared Goff made huge strides coming out of college, getting to the point where he could understand what he was seeing, getting to the play that Sean wanted. But what was happening, and most recently, where things were coming after the snap, where defenses were shifting, bringing extra pressures. There was no adjustment by Goff. There wasn't dynamic playmaking ability by Goff after the fact. So that was really where they had hit their ceiling, with their quarterback. Jared wasn't a bad quarterback. They were a great team with Jared. They were a team that actually beat the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. So it's not like they're that far away. So when you look at it from a front office standpoint and you say, if we can just get a quarterback that can make those dynamic plays, but also has the understanding of experience like a Matt Stafford, just look at his skill set. When I look at that paired with Sean McVay and his ability to create offense, which you said was only slightly behind the Bucs offensive output, I mean, it's going to be incredible. When they played the Bucs, they threw the ball 51 times. Can you imagine if Matt Stafford threw the ball 51 times? I mean, I'm thinking about the possibilities of this offense with Sean McVay running it. I think it could be dynamic. I mean, who's going to knock them off? That's the thing for me. I think they've instantly become NFC championship contenders.
Well, and one thing Rams fans will soon learn is that you're never out of a game with Matthew Stafford as your quarterback. Right. 31 fourth-quarter comebacks since coming into the league in 2009, more than any other quarterback. Now let's bring JJ into the conversation here. So let's lay it out simple. Matthew Stafford wanted to go to a championship-caliber team. Where do the Rams sit on your short list of championship contenders here, JJ?
Hey, they're right up there at the top, man, with Matthew Stafford. And I just want to tell you, I've played against Matthew Stafford a bunch. I've seen him get after it a bunch. He is up there. When you talk about throwing the football, he's up there with the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's. You could put him right up there in that conversation when it comes to throwing the football. Matthew Stafford is a special thrower of the football. It doesn't matter if it's sidearm. It doesn't matter if the pocket's clean. It doesn't matter if he's getting outside the pocket. He is a special thrower of the football. And you match him with Sean McVay in that offense with those receivers who can run that routes and the schemes and how they scheme things on that offense with a special thrower of the football now. This is very scary. And you add on the run game that the Rams had that they found out they had in the playoffs. This is a scary, scary offense and a scary team, and we know what they can do on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm going to say it again. Matthew Stafford, put him up in that conversation with the best in the game right now of throwing the football. He is special. I know he's been in Detroit. The wins hasn't added up, but he is special at throwing that football.
You won't get an argument for me on that for sure, and I think David definitely agrees in that category. And look, as we're talking about contenders here on February 15th, understanding there's a lot of roster construction left to be done here in the next few months before we get closer to kickoff. All right, maybe adding another special thrower of the football to the NFL here shortly. If a 10,000 career passing yards and 90 pass TDs at Clemson was part one of Trevor Lawrence's job interview, then part two was completed Friday with a 52-throw pro day workout in front of NFL evaluators, most notably 5 yards in front of new Jags head coach Urban Meyer, who watched every throw of that session with a front row seat. An audition, though, that Lawrence's resume didn't necessarily require.
I was just telling someone, just wanted to be like everybody else, go through this process the right way, and just felt like this was important for me to do, give all the teams a chance to see me throw, and something that, growing up, you kind of dream about having your pro day and everything's going normal. Then, like I said over there, life happens sometimes and things get switched up. So just showing that I can adapt and adjust, prepare short notice, and still, put on a pretty good day. Obviously, how these things go, you wish you had a few throws back, but overall, I thought it was a good day. But yeah, I just wanted to do the process the right way. And I thought that was important for us to still throw and to do that.
Let's welcome in Tom Pelissero now. Tom, we know that the pro day being moved up for Trevor Lawrence as a result of the shoulder surgery he's going to have here this week. What does that timeline now look like for Trevor?
Trevor Lawrence will undergo surgery on Tuesday with Dr. Neil Elatrash in Los Angeles to fix a torn labrum in his left non-throwing shoulder. As you mentioned, his pro day throwing session was moved up. Rather than working out with the rest of the Clemson players in mid-March, instead he threw on Friday. He's facing a 5 to 6 month recovery to get all the way back and fully cleared for contact. This allows him to accelerate that rehab process. Now, Lawrence also said on NFL Network the shoulder really wasn't bothering him that much, but this was the right time to get it fixed. Also said he will be fully good to go before training camp. Rhett?